What's up guys, it's RJ, welcome back. Today, we're gonna be taking a look at the Nike Zoom Pegasus 35 Turbo. Ridiculously long name, hence why I had to look at the package to read it out to you guys. Just got these in hand day before yesterday, I believe. This is the second time shooting this video, and I apologize for the delay, but it turned out like crap. My regular camera that I've shot pretty much everything on this channel is out of commission because I don't have a battery for the microphone and I didn't feel like delaying this any longer. So this is all shot on the iPhone 10, no external microphone. If it goes well, I might just shoot everything on the iPhone 10 because it's way easier, easier to set up and obviously way more compact. So anyways, let's just dive into this review real quick. Like I said, just got these from Nike. They did a early release for Nike Plus members on the app, and then they overnighted them if you ordered them. I believe they sold out fairly quickly, and I don't think there's a general release now until August, if I'm not mistaken. Here you have them. The box says that this is a barely gray colorway, barely gray with hits of punch. Now, when you look at them in person, unless I'm just slightly colorblind or see things differently, I think it's got a bit of a green aqua tint to it, and then obviously that punch color is just like a pinkish orange, a little bit of red, however you want to take it. Definitely punch is a good name. Overall, very aesthetically pleasing when I look at them. So first thing I want to start with is price point, $180 USD, which is exactly what a generic general released Ultra Boost goes for. And while I think it's ridiculous, you know, it's something that's become the norm when it comes to running shoes. 180, and that brings you right around 200 bucks out the door. And it's just, it is what it is, you know? It's expensive, but if you're buying a sneaker and you want something that's high end and you want the best of the best, this is definitely it. So that's pricing. As far as comfort goes, this is the most comfortable sneaker I've put on since the first time I put on an Ultra Boost, which was back in 2015. For the last 3 years, Ultra Boost has been the most comfortable shoe, and really Boost has taken over as far as comfort goes. This Zoom X technology that Nike's now using is phenomenal. I believe the first shoe that it came out on was the Vaporfly 4%, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the name. And those were a marathon shoe. So nobody was really buying those to just kick it and walk around in and do, you know, some minimal exercise in, if you will. And this is what this shoe is supposed to do. The gentleman who broke the marathon record in that 4% also helped design these and test this product out, I believe. I would butcher his name if I even tried, but he did the 40K in these and also set a record in this shoe. That shoe was definitely made for hardcore runners, you know, and I believe when you're running marathons, I've never ran a marathon, but I believe when you're running marathons, it's probably like a one and done type of thing for the shoes. I don't know that you wear them for multiple events. So for the general public, no one really wants to go out and spend 250 bucks on a pair of shoes that you're gonna wear one time. Also, for those of you who don't know, the Pegasus lineup goes back for years and years and years. You can probably hit up one of the blogs, Sneaker News or Nice Kicks or something like that for a little more info on Pegasus. Different conversation for a different day. So as far as this shoe goes, comfort-wise, phenomenal. Now sizing, true to size, that's all I'm gonna say. There is no reason to go up or down half a size. Nike got this shoe perfect right from the get-go. Doesn't need a break-in, doesn't need to be worn, doesn't need to mold to your foot. I'm sure it does all of those things, but right out of the box, true to size, feels fantastic. So that's price point, comfort, fit. Now on to the construction of the shoe and my thoughts on it. All right, so from the toe box all the way to the heel panel, you've got this one single seamless piece of mesh that's covering more mesh below it, but the mesh below it's more of a fabric than the upper part is. If I had to guess, below is probably a nylon-ish material. Up top, this has a almost a plastic feel to it, for lack of better words right now. I apologize once again, but if you can see up close right there, definitely very minimal. You can see right through it all the way to that punch insole. That insole is removable. Nothing too special about it. Nike running branded on the inside. Back to this mesh piece though, one single layer all the way around, ridiculously breathable. You can feel it when you put the shoe on. It's breathable from front to back too. This is more of a traditional sneaker as far as the padding goes. It's not what a lot of sneakers are these days, which is, you know, just a knit upper. When it comes to Nike, obviously fly knit. So this definitely does have a bit more padding around the heel, which I like. I've been leaning towards that minimal silhouette for quite a long time, but throwing these on, they're minimal enough with extra padding and extra comfort that I can still appreciate the shoe, if that makes sense. So back to the build. Before you hit the nylon beneath the upper mesh, you do have the Flywire technology. I've talked a bit about Flywire in my previous videos. Essentially what that does is the wires connect to the midsole on both sides. They run all the way up to the lacing system right there, and they connect to the laces. So when you put your foot in and you snug those laces down, the wires snug around your foot, obviously giving you a bit more stability, and overall it's just gonna hug your foot a bit more and lock you down a bit when you're actually running. So definitely a cool piece of technology when it comes to sneakers. Nike's been doing that for, I would say, probably a decade plus, if not longer. When it comes to the tongue on this particular shoe, it is fully attached. It moves around up top a little bit, but once you tie the shoe and you get to running, that thing's not gonna slip around. I've also talked a bit about that in previous videos. I'm not a fan of tongues that are not connected because I don't like when I put my shoe on and it ends up, you know, on the side of my foot. So fully connected, and you can see right there, you've got the Pegasus branding, a little bit of information on the tongue right there. Cool little aesthetic piece. The laces are a cotton lace, but they've almost got like a ropey texture to them. They're a bit more high quality than something that you might just find, you know, on a normal Pegasus, for instance. Lastly, right around that lacing system, you've got reinforcements right here. If you can see, I'm not sure if the camera's gonna pick that up or not, but this whole area right here is reinforced on both sides, obviously, so when you're tightening your laces up, you're not gonna tear through that fabric right there. It will hold, add for a bit more durability, and definitely longevity when it comes to the life of the shoe. Both sides of the shoe do feature a big swoosh. This one actually touches the midsole and then runs up to the side of the shoe. This one is just a generic Nike swoosh, as you see on most sneakers when it comes to putting that swoosh on there. And real quick, please stop calling it a check mark. If you are just not familiar or ignorant or whatever the deal is, no disrespect, but this is a swoosh. This is a Nike swoosh. That's what it's been called since day one. It is not a check mark. It is not a swish. A swish is a basketball shot. This is a Nike swoosh. Call it that. That's what it is. Let's get it right. Let's spread the word, because I'm shaking my head all day long on Twitter reading about Nike check marks. Now, back to the sneaker. Heel panel right here does feature a 3M skinny triangle, if you will. And obviously that's just a reflective piece, so if you're out running at nighttime and you got a car behind you, it'll give you a little bit of visibility. I wouldn't recommend running at nighttime, but it's there, so better safe than sorry, I suppose. Like I've already mentioned a few times, you do have a bunch of padding right here around the ankle. Good for stability, good for support, and it's very comfortable as well. I can't say, I've mentioned comfort with this shoe, and that's all it is. This shoe is just super comfy. So that pretty much talks about the entire upper right there. Let's head down to the midsole. Like I said, you've got your Nike Zoom X technology in this midsole, and the cushion is just phenomenal. As far as the coloring goes, you've got that same barely gray running all the way to about the midpoint of the shoe, and then it gradients into white on both sides of the shoe. Lower inner portion of that midsole does feature a bit more text, just like the tongue does. Just says that it's engineered for specification of world-class runners, and just a cool little aesthetic piece, just like the tongue. I think that's really cool. Nike's done that on a few shoes now. So the Zoom X cushioning is phenomenal. Like I already said, you know, I don't want to do the whole Boost and Nike battle, but this is the most comfortable shoe that I've worn in years. And like I said, I've only worn it for a few days, so maybe that technology will die out really quick. And Ultra Boost keeps its comfort for who knows how long. They're still comfortable no matter what, in my opinion, you know, and I've worn them for 3 years. So I think this shoe and this technology has the ability to rival that shoe, and or at least compete with it. You know, it'll give somebody who has no desire to wear an Adidas shoe something to wear that's just as comfortable. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Please do not ask me which one is better, because I'm not gonna get into that. Now, Heading to the bottom of the shoe, I had to pull these out because there's a huge similarity between the old Flyknit racer, well, any Flyknit racer, and the Pegasus 35 Turbo when it comes to the outsole. There's nothing special as far as branding goes. It is just a Nike rubber outsole, but it does have the same waffle look that the racers have had since I believe 2012, if I'm not mistaken there. And obviously that racing stripe continues to the outsole right there. Definitely a cool piece. A lot of people don't like that racing stripe. They say it's, you know, ugly or whatever, but I think it's unique. I would assume Nike threw the stripe on there because just like in racing, race cars have stripes, race cars are fast. This is a fast shoe. Let's throw a stripe on it and be clever, if you will. So that's pretty much my breakdown, and I'm a huge fan of it. So if you're on the fence with this shoe, just snag a pair if you have the money to do so. And lastly, Nike, you've got to stop sending me shoes with glue stains and extra glue. You can see right there on that swoosh, you can see on the back piece right there, coming up on the Achilles, I've got glue. There's just glue all over these shoes. Ladies, gentlemen, that's gonna do it for me today. I will throw these on feet real quick so you guys can take a look at them. That is the Nike Zoom Pegasus 35 Turbo. That's gonna do it, I'm out. Peace.